last week had a big implication on the 2025 One-Up Superstar Series Championship, this week is expected to blow the title fight wide open because here, anything is possible at Talladega, where for 57 laps, the One-Up Superstar Series will take on this beast of a track, 2.66 miles in length, the big one lurking around every corner, and I would expect a lot of attrition here, where the slightest mistake can turn into calamity for yourself and for those around you. And alongside me to bring you all the action for today's race is Jacob Crago with us once again. Great to have you with us. Like I said, this is Talladega. Anything is possible. We could see a driver from the 40s on the grid win this race. We could see cars upside down, in the air, all over the place. That's just the nature of Talladega.
It's not a matter of if, but when it comes to the big one here. It's also the longest track on the schedule, at least in terms of ovals, and it is very, very fast and very, very dangerous. And a little joke I like to say is, when it comes to this time of year when you're running at Talladega, considering, the whole, it's apparently built on an old Indian burial ground, there's of course the legend of Talladega as well. And you're certainly going to see some, let's just say, supernatural things happen today at this very, very beautiful facility.
Yeah, it's going to be intense when you consider that our playoff field got tipped upside down completely last time out at Texas, and it could very well be flipped on its head again here today. With a quick look at the top 20 in points, mainly focused on the top 15. After Texas, we have a new sheriff in town, and it's Dillon Young, who, after a spectacular win last time out at Texas Motor Speedway, that combined with a myriad of errors and faults for Myles Mashburn during that race, Dillon Young, in his final season, now takes the points lead with just 6 races remaining by 15 points over Myles Mashburn. But can't get too complacent because, like we said, you can lose easily 20, 30 points in a matter of seconds here at Talladega. So that points lead, while a good thing to have, it's by no means a sure thing.
Yeah, especially when everybody's still packed together at the start of this thing. That's really the best chance for a huge wreck to happen. That could take out just about everybody here. I mean, you'd think you'd be more in danger further back in the pack you are. No, you're just as in much danger as you are at the front of the field as you are at the back of the field here. So, yeah, Dillon Young, Myles Mashburn, yeah, they traded spots here in points after Texas, after Myles Mashburn had a very, very horrid time there, while Dillon Young, as you said, went on the win. But they're still not safe at the front. Myles Mashburn could easily fall back even more spots. Dillon Young could lose the points lead here and whatnot. So you really got to stay out of trouble going into Talladega here.
It's easier said than done, though, for sure, especially around an old place like this, as we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 57 laps of action, and qualifying brought a massive surprise in the form of a new pole sitter in One-Up Superstar competition, James Ellison for Crossroads Racing. After the wretched season he's had so far, finally a bit of good news for the Crossroads Racing team. Ellison puts the number 3 Chevrolet on pole position for the very first time. He'll be in the Superstar Shootout next year. Alongside him, you have Stephen Gale, who won at Talladega earlier this year. Can he go for the sweep this time around? The highest playoff driver in the field is Zayden Davidson in the 3rd position, and then you got a few more behind him. Patrick Smith starting 4th, and Dillon Young, the points leader, starting in 5th position, which normally is a very good spot to be in, but at Talladega, it's just any old spot on the grid.
Yeah, especially with the draft being king here. But yeah, big day for James Ellison yesterday in qualifying, being able to make the pole work here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really expect him to finish in first because with that draft, it's not a matter of where you start, it's a matter of where you finish, or even if you can finish here. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to see if he can stay up there.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? Because for 57 laps, we are ready to get some racing underway here at Talladega. So, with that being said, it is the 1UP Superstar Series playoffs at Talladega Superspeedway, race 25 of the season, and the green flag set to get this great race underway. Stay tuned for that. What will we see unfold here at Talladega today? It is James Ellison on pole position for the very first time in this series. Stephen Gale alongside him, heading into the restart zone. The field already starting to fan out. That only means one thing: we are racing here at Talladega, and it's an excellent launch for James Ellison off the line. He's going to be clear of Stephen Gale, but will Zayden Davidson perhaps be in position to make a move early on in this race, because he is already alongside the 52 as well for second place.
Yeah, he needs to try and make up as many spots as possible here, because while he entered Texas, if I recall correctly, pretty far back in the playoffs, he did make up a few spots with a decent finish, but that doesn't mean he still can't make up more here. He's now tucked in right behind the three of Ellison. Stephen Gale still trying to hang on to third. He will ducking in just in front of Dillon Young, who's now fourth on the bottom lane with the 18 of Tescar Jr. right behind, although Tescar Jr. as well as Vargas, who's right behind, now taking a look to the inside. Looks like Ellison's going to lead the first lap here as they run through the travel for the first time.
And not only does he lead this lap for the first time at Talladega, I believe this is the first lap he has ever led in his 1UP Superstar Series career. So kudos to James Ellison for putting that good lap in yesterday to get the pole position. Now, let's see how long he can hold on to it, because they're a hungry pack of 41 cars, all looking to take the lead away from him and to make a story of their own.
Yeah, and already looks like Finn Guy looking to make a 3 wide down there on the bottom. Looks like he's looking to the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. Ooh, Crown just barely cuts in front of that 92 car. And Finn Guy really needs to make moves here early on, because he desperately needs points. He enters this race 14th in the playoffs after a wreck last week at Texas.
But for now, he has to be content riding in that middle lane, because James Ellison comes across the line to lead his second lap of the day. But now he's got two teammates right behind him looking to make something happen. Cale Tescar Jr., Christian Vargas, both of whom looking for their first wins of 2025. And they're both hungry for it. I know that for a fact. But Finn Guy is also hungry to get another win under his belt. He's diving his way down to the inside of Vargas, and that is for third position.
Yeah, and he was able to make that move, although I noticed he was getting pushed by Michaels there, although Michaels now on the outside lane right behind Vargas. But Michaels is another driver that really needs to pick up a few spots here and try to make up as much points as possible, because he was involved in that same wreck that Finn Guy was last week, and he's entered the race last in the playoffs, although he has help right behind. That's his teammate, Mashburn 72. If we take a look further back, I believe that's Stanley Andrews in the one, running in the middle.
Oh, we got one on the wall out of turn 2. That's the 52 of Stephen Gale, our outside pole sitter. Remember, he won this race last time we were at Talladega in the spring, but this is going to send a few guys at the back of the field off of the lead pack. Nick Ortiz, Stephen Hunter, Nicky Martinez, Keon Daly. Now, these 5 cars, they're going to have to get single file, and they're going to need to work like crazy to get caught up to the tail end of the field once again.
Yeah, and Stephen Gale just has to hope he doesn't lose the draft to these guys. As we see back up front here, change the lead. Julio Caesar pushing Tescar Jr. to lead a lap, and now here comes Mashburn with a push from Sanders to the inside. Tescar's going to jump down to that inside line now to try and cover them off.
Yeah, so Ellison's run at the front of the field lasted 3 laps, which I'm sure he will gladly take. First laps of his superstar career. He has been the race leader for, but Tescar now out in front of this field on lap number 5. He's got Lane Sanders on the inside line, Julio Caesar in the middle, giving James Ellison very little room to navigate. But now Tescar pulls down in front of the 87, and there's Cody Goforth on the inside in the 64 with a push from Jeff Bolton.
Yeah, great run from Bolton here early on, going able to work his way up through the field to get into this position here. Now Goforth and Sanders side by side for second. Tescar is going to lead another lap here, and it looks like, I think that's can't tell that's Henry Thomas or Ben McDonald.
That is
on the
Ben,
inside
that's
there
Ben
behind.
McDonald. Thomas's car is more black than that, but Looking further back, we got a bit of a 4-wide situation here with Andrews, Aaron Hall. I think they're going to sort it out this time, but man, it's always risky when you go 4 wide here at Talladega because there's just not enough room for these cars.
Yeah, and especially when they run so close together, it can really cause a huge crash, especially with as tightly packed as everybody is. As we see now, it looks like Devin Fair leading that inside line very briefly before the top 3 come down and try and cover him off. He has Patrick Smith and it looks like Logan Williams in the 8 right behind. Now Logan Williams looks to the inside of Patrick Smith.
Yeah, and Dillon Young and Myles Mashburn now in the middle of this pack. This is by far the last thing they want to deal with, is a 4-wide situation that they themselves are in the middle of. But as you can see, it looks like Zachary DeLello might be losing the lead draft as well. That's important because he entered this race 6th in the points. So he really is got to be hoping for something good to happen here to keep himself up in touch with the lead group. As Bolton now dives to the inside, trying to take the lead away. Remember, he's a past winner at Talladega as well.
Yeah, and he's got a push from Logan Williams right behind as well. That's going to really help him out here. In fact, you got 3 drivers all dotted in the playoffs, lined up on the bottom there with Goforth also not in the playoffs, leading that top lane. Bolton's going to lead lap. Looks like Goforth just barely flipped Logan Williams for 2nd place.
But now it's Bolton in the lead of this race. He has won here before. You go back to the spring of 2023 when he got that victory here at Talladega. But right now, William Brock going to try and make a move down to the inside. I think he's alongside Goforth now for the 3rd spot. See if Dillon Young is going to try and make a move on the 93 for that position. No, he stays tucked in, giving a push to the SO Dodge, trying to make a move on Williams for 2nd spot. But for now, Bolton's got a good grasp of it as things stand.
Yeah, in fact, Dillon Young isn't alone there. He's got his teammate Ryan Griffin right behind him there, 4th in that, was going to say 4th in that bottom lane, but he gets shoved up to that middle lane by Chase Christ in that 46 car, who's trying to make a run here. Now the 4th car on that inside lane here. And it looks like he's got, I believe that is the 42 Mahindra right behind him.
That is indeed Rasha Mahendra, who started this race down in 32nd place. Of course, William Brock, who's now going for the lead on Jeff Bolton, he started this race in 40th. Remember, like I said, it's very easy to make your way from the back to the front at Talladega, but it's also easy to lose all those positions as well. So you've got to be on top of your game at all times if you're going to make it to the end in one piece.
Yeah, it's going to just be a matter of who can lead this lap because the inside line isn't as formed up as the outside line. Oh, it's going to be a drag race to the line here to see who leads this lap. I think Bolton's going to just barely get it. I think he did.
He sure did by 13 one-thousandths of a second. But now we barrel off into turns 1 and 2 to start lap number 10. William Brock with a push from his fellow Dodge driver, Chase Christ. They've got Bobo Jones, Bolton's teammate, back there trying to make a move, and Liam Nolan behind him. He was fastest in practice earlier this weekend. He's looking to make some noise here.
Yeah, great run for both those guys here early on in this race, especially when they're kind of far back in the points, especially Bobo Jones, who granted has made up a few spots over the last few weeks, which is, always great to see, especially with a driver who's had such bad luck, almost as bad luck as Crossroads Racing has had.
And meanwhile, speaking of Crossroads Racing, if you go back to that group that got slowed up behind Stephen Gale, Stephen Hunter is one of those guys, and they have completely lost the lead draft now. They're running all by themselves, a ways off the pace of the lead group, so they got to hope for a caution flag to come pretty soon if they're going to have a hope of getting back into this race. And I notice a little ways further back, Myles Mashburn right at the tail end of the lead draft. That is the last place he wants to be in right now.
Yeah, especially with the matter of the big one still looming and the potential for that occurring at any moment if any of these drivers makes one wrong move here, as we see them now go 4 wide for 2nd place. That's not what you want to see if you are towards the tail end of the field, because that can spell trouble very, very easily.
Yeah, you got Aiden Clare down there on the bottom, Zachary Fitzwater in a special look this weekend, Bobo Jones up on the top of the racetrack, but now it's a couple of Toyotas out in the lead of this race. Liam Nolan, Aiden Clare, Zayden Davidson, all driving for Toyota, and they're making moves. Clare dives to the inside looking for the lead, as we got a 4-wide situation here with Fair, with Teskar, with Brock, and with Chase Christ up high.
Yeah, I believe Teskar and Brock were actually making contact going into turn 3 there. Thankfully, they all kept it pointed in the right direction now, but look at this. Stanley Andrews now in second right behind the 70.
Yeah, Stanley Andrews. He has had good runs on the Superspeedways in the past. This is a really good run that he's going to need when he goes down to the Nitro National Series next season. But he's got and who better to push him right now than Devin Fair, a former series champion. He's got Sam Janotto right behind him in the 77. So he's in pretty good company, and right behind him you got Jeffrey Finguy right in the mix, and we got a whole bunch of 3 and 4 wide in this field. They're leaning on one another into the third turn, but it looks like they're able to keep it straight.
Yeah, I just about thought there was going to be a wreck there going into turn 3 with Bobo Jones and William Brock, but thankfully, as you said, able to keep it pointed in the right direction. Now here comes Julio Cesar on the bottom. He's going to try and lead a lap here with a push from Brock's teammate in the 73.
Yeah, that's Daniel Bouchard down there, and Caesar needs these bonus points. Oh, we got one slow, and it's Devin Fair up on top of the racetrack. I think he might have a tire going down. Oh, and he gets hooked by Goforth. He comes down the track, he hangs on to it, avoids a wreck, but what that has done is that has split this pack up in an enormous fashion. This group of 5 is going to catch up to the back of the field in a big way, but that's going to separate this pack in a way I don't think any of these guys really wanted.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue was on the 51 there, but that was not how that. I don't know what Devin Fair was thinking, just trying to just drive straight down the racetrack, get to the apron.
Well, he had a tire going down. I don't know if he had a choice in the matter. But for now, we don't have a caution for this. He's going to receive some assistance back to the pit lane. But for now, it's Julio Cesar out in the lead. He's got a pack of about 9-10 cars out there all by themselves. And then everybody else behind. Oh, this is brutal for Devin Fair and his championship hopes. He entered this race 48 points out, just barely within a race of the lead. Now he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of help to have any hopes of wanting to continue his championship hopes here today. Although something to point out is Stephen Gale, with that damage from hitting the wall exiting turn 2 earlier, he's already half a lap down from the lead. Oh, I think more than half a lap down from leaders already, because he lost the draft of the 5 cars that caught up to this now second in the pack a while back now. As you see, Stephen Hunter has already made up a few spots since catching this pack. He's just ahead of Dillon Young, who's deep in the field, not what he wanted going into this race after just taking the points lead, I think for the first time all season long after winning last week at Texas.
Yeah, and this is a pretty big pack he's got to go chase down, and the problem that Dillon Young has is, look up here, Myles Mashburn is in this lead group. He's got both his teammates up there to work with as well. All 3 Robbers Racing drivers in the mix in the front of this field. 10 cars in this lead pack. Caesar leads Finguy to complete lap number 16, but unless we get a caution to bunch the field back up once again, it may be these 10 fighting for the win.
Well, you never know. We just about had a caution a few laps ago.
That's why I said hoping for a caution.
But these guys are still, this is still a decently sized pack. You could still get a wreck from these guys right here. So it's just a matter of, can these guys keep it clean and try and run down these lead 10 cars.
And keep in mind as well, Bobo Jones and Cale Teskar Jr., they're running by themselves at the moment in between the 2 packs. They're going to get caught by that second group pretty quickly, as, man, Devin Fair still stuck on pit road trying to fix whatever they can on that car, send them back out, pick up a few positions. But the 51 will not be winning this race at the rate he is going.
Yeah, already 2 going on 3 laps down now. just not what you want to see. As we see Finguy now leading the 07 off of turn 2. He was able to lead the last lap there, as we see now Crown getting pushed from Mashburn down the back straightaway, although Mashburn now getting kicked up to the high line by Bouchard, I believe that is. Yeah, that is Bouchard.
Yep, so, and he's got J.D. Martin pushing him. He himself is pushing Roberto Crown Jr. in the 71. Got a lot of underdog stories in this group. We've got Aaron Hall, Roberto Crown Jr., Daniel Bouchard, Jeff Bolton. They're all looking for big wins today. And unless we get a yellow flag, these may be the 10 guys. However, we do have a round of green flag pit stops still to come if we don't get a caution.
Yeah, and any of these guys could still have a bad pit stop and get mired back in that second field, as we see Devin Fair now actually come out right in front of these guys, but he's going to stay to the low line and let these guys by. So
yeah, and that's his 4th lap down. He will lose in that exchange. So Devin Fair, he's got to hope the Tescar and Bobo Jones are willing to pick him up and they can run together for a little while, because at the rate they're going right now, Devin Fair is just in for a rough ride.
Yeah, or at least he's able to, be picked up by the second pack of Bobo Jones and who's running with Jones does enable
Tescar.
Tescar, thank you. Isn't able to pick him up.
They're coming up to lap Stephen Gale as well at a pretty reasonable pace, so that could very well shuffle things up in a big hurry as we make our way further back. Man, that pack back there is really giving it everything to try and get to and gain as much time as they possibly can for the remainder of this race. Going through the corner now as we got trouble further back. We got a crash. It's Patrick Smith. It's Cody Goforth. It's Aiden Clare. And it is Ryan Griffin. That is going to put us under the caution. And that is a huge break for everybody that made it through that in that second pack.
Yeah, because that allows them to catch back up and be able to get back in the fight for the win here. Although a tough break for everybody involved in that wreck.
Absolutely.
And it also gives... you know who gets the biggest break from this? Stephen Gale, because now he remains on the lead lap and he gets a chance to repair that damage.
Sure does, and this will give everybody an opportunity to come down pit road. I don't know if they'll be able to make it to the end from here, but they're going to give it a shot. Oh, and we got trouble in the back. Oh, and it's Lane Sanders, Kev Shearer, Christian Vargas, all of these guys piling in. We saw this yesterday, didn't we? With Zayden Davidson going upside down. Oh my goodness. We saw this yesterday, and now we see it again today. Just a stack up under yellow. The second pack trying to catch up to the first, and it all Constantine is together.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest.
Well, Liam Nolan looks to be done for today, and he had a really strong car this weekend. But what this will allow for everybody to do is it will allow them to come down pit road, get some fresh tires if they want. They definitely want fuel in these cars. And and if they have any damage, they can try and fix it like Stephen Gale had. Devin Fair, of course, stays out because he was on pit road a little while ago. He will get the free pass, by the way, get one of his 4 laps back. But now, everybody comes to the attention of their crews. It's feeding time on pit road.
Yeah, question. Could they make it the rest of the way from here? Or do they need to make another pit stop?
It would be really tight. I think to be on the safe side, they'd probably want to pit one more time. But maybe if you have nothing to lose, maybe you could go for it. But man, that'd be a big gamble with about 37 laps to go in this race. Oh, Vargas and Finguy made contact
between Vargas and Finguy
in the pit lane there.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen that happen.
Yeah,
that will be the last.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of cars out of this race. William Brock's out. Cody Goforth out of the race. I saw Liam Nolan, I believe, out as well. There's Finguy leaving the pits. He's fine. So we're going to have a couple of guys out of this race as a result of the contact. And we'll get you a look at that in a brief moment as soon as everything else sorts itself. So this looks like where it starts. It's a 4-wide situation with Claire, Nolan, Cody Govler. Oh, yeah, Nolan tips the 64 down into the 70s path, and Ryan Griffin, Patrick Smith, the two teammates from FPM, they were just innocent bystanders in this whole mess.
Yeah, it's just danger of leaning on each other when you are forward wide. You make contact, and the momentum of your car just carries you one direction or the other into somebody else, and it triggers something like what we just saw there.
Yeah, and now this is a look back at what we have seen. This is a look at what we saw coming to the caution flag. You see this lead group, they're already slowed down for the caution flag. Now this group, they're trying to slow down in time. They're doing a decently good job, but somewhere in this line, it just isn't enough, and they start piling in one after another. You see, yeah, right there, Echo Evans-Ross looks like is the first car to get turned sideways. Stanley Andrews, Hunter, Mark Davey, Logan Williams, they all start piling in. Ellison did a good job to avoid it, but, you know, I said it before. I said it the other day. This is the far side of the track where the spotters can't see as well. It's also, but I think the main reason for this is just because the second group was trying to catch up to the pace car and the first group already had.
It's hard to tell. I think it was Mahindra that was just ahead of Echo Evans-Ross. I think what happened is Mahindra basically slammed on the brakes at the last possible second, and that caused Echo to check up, caused who was behind Echo to check up, but just was not able to check up in time, and that's what caused the pile-up to happen there.
Oh, man, look at all these cars knocked out of the race. Kev Shearer out. Lane Sanders in his home race out. Nicky Martinez. Christian Vargas, a driver who has entered this race third in the points. He's out of the race. Stanley Andrews, another tough break for him. Nick Ortiz I saw fall out as well. That is just absolutely heartbreaking for all those drivers who are hoping for good days, but Talladega can giveth and Talladega can taketh away.
Ain't that the truth here? But yeah, just, man, tough break for Sanders as well. Another playoff driver that has had another issue.
And Zayden Davidson as well. He's out of the race, and he had a really strong starting spot today. He entered this race 8th in the points. Now he is going to have his work cut out for him for the rest of the day. For now, however, it's Jeffrey Finguy out in the lead of this race. Bouchard runs 2nd, Bolton 3rd, Roberto Crown Jr. in 4th, and you just can't count out Myles Mashburn, can you? He currently runs in the 5th position ahead of his teammate, Joshua Michaels.
Yeah, I think the only time you really can count out Myles Mashburn is when he comes down pit road inexplicably for some sort of unknown issue.
Like Texas?
Like last week it was like Texas, like Kentucky. Like those are the two examples I can think of right off the top of my head as the pace car lights go out, so we do get the 1 to go signal here. But yeah, those are really the only times you can count out Myles Mashburn. So,
and even then, not all of it was his fault, so it's just how it goes sometimes. But we have 32 cars still in this race, 31 of whom will be on the lead lap. And I would expect, once this restart happens, that the field who was behind this group of 10 that broke away earlier, they're going to do everything to make up for lost time.
Yeah, but I have a feeling, though, with contact between Finguy and Vargas on pit road, Finguy's going to basically be an anchor here with the damage he received up the right side of his car.
Depends on how severe the damage is, because you can get away with a little bit here, but it doesn't take long for that little bit to become a lot.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see here, as we got about half a lap until the green flag actually does fly here.
But for right now, Jeffrey Finguy holds the lead, and boy does he need a good run. He's won 3 races this season, which is, I believe, tied for the most this season. But he has got a lot of work to do to dig himself out of a points deficit right now. He entered this race 81 points behind Dillon Young. So Finguy really needs a string of good results, not just here today, but at Denver next time out, at North Wilkesboro after that, at Las Vegas. He needs a lot of good results to get himself back in the hunt.
Yeah, especially with, the aforementioned wreck at Texas last week, wreck at, I believe it was Chicagoland the week for last.
He wrecked at Michigan, I remember.
Oh, Michigan, my bad. I didn't even.
But we're coming to the restart with Finguy out front, Bouchard second, Bolton, Crown, Mashburn, Michaels, Caesar, green flag back in the air.
Yep, Finguy leads him down. Bouchard immediately looks to the outside, as does Bolton. You can see if Bolton cuts back in behind Finguy. He does.
Yeah, but this
Crown, Mashburn.
But look at Bouchard. He's hanging tough all on his own. You may be right about the damage to the 92 car. Because look, with no help up there, Daniel Bouchard is going to try and take the lead of this race from the outside line.
Yeah, and then you got Bolton on the inside line looking to try and get to Finguy for second. Got Mashburn now making a 3 wide with a push from JD Martin there, his teammate right behind.
Yeah,
so move Roberts Racing up to
second and third.
P2, almost P3.
Yeah, but as you can see, Devin Fair is not having a good time because he is stuck behind all the damaged cars, and by the time he gets past them all, he's going to lose the draft again. So that's really unfortunate for Devin Fair. It's just a matter of getting the free pass. He had to start behind all the damaged cars, and this is the consequence.
Well, the good news is if he loses the draft, but doesn't necessarily go another lap down, if there's another wreck, that's another lap he gains back of the 3 he's currently down.
Well, he's the only car
risk of being involved.
He's the only car laps down at the moment, so he could get those back with more cautions. But what if those lap cars become a factor? I don't know. It's going to be tough, but Devin Fair, I trust, will be able to try and fend for all he can. Meanwhile, up at the front, Daniel Bouchard leads this race. It has been so long since he has been the victory lane. You got to go all the way back to Iowa Speedway in 2020, the last time we saw Daniel Bouchard in victory lane. He wants one bad.
Yeah, but Sam Donato's not going to make it easy for him. He looks to the inside here to try and take the lead here through turns 1 and 2. You got Julio Cesar right behind Bouchard. And then you got, I believe that is actually Donato's teammate in the 07, Aaron Hall, right behind him.
Sure is.
You got 2 Dodges and 2 Toyotas battling side by side now for the front 2 spots. And here we see Finguy falling back like an anchor. I think I called it there with the damage. He's even behind Stephen Gale right now.
And Dillon Young is right behind him. And Young needs to realize that team loyalty can only go so far. He's got to maybe pull down behind his other teammate, Ryan Griffin, and they can start working together to try and get to the front. Because if he stays behind that 92, he is just going to go to the back, and he's going to go there in a hurry.
Yeah, I think I just saw he did drop behind Ryan Griffin there to try and get around Finguy as we see Donato continue to lead now with Joshua Michaels right behind him with the 71 Crown Jr. pushing him. So, yeah, it's not really a big pack like we saw earlier in this race as everybody's getting a little strung out. But there's still a bit of pack racing. There's the decent amount of side-by-side racing still.
And we've got more cars in this lead group, too, than we had earlier. That's always good news. We like to see a lot of cars up in the mix going for the win. And you go to Sam Donato, it's been a while since he's been to victory lane, not as long as Bouchard, but it's been since 2023 at Auto Club Speedway for Sam Donato, the last time he went to victory lane. So wouldn't he love to make a return trip at Talladega?
Well, he's got a hungry pack of cars right behind him that he's got to try and stay ahead of. And that's easier said than done, especially at a track like Talladega.
And meanwhile, Ryan Griffin has caught the lead group, but critically, Dillon Young has not yet. He's got a little help from his teammate behind him, Patrick Smith, but these 3 Finguy cars, they need to work together a lot more than this if they're going to get the 29 and the 22 caught up to the lead group.
Yeah, and they're a little ways off of catching this lead pack here. And you got Finguy actually being passed by the 9 of Brantley Gage. Sorry. As well, and they're losing time to the 29 and 22. So, yeah, not a great day for the Finguy Satori Motorsports cars.
No, but they can always regroup and get back after it at Denver next week, that is for sure. But meanwhile, at the front of the field, Sam Donato has led for a decent while. But Myles Mashburn now trying to make a move down to the bottom, and he wants to lead this race, especially with Dillon Young not in this lead pack. This could be a huge opportunity for the 72 to gain a lot of points.
Yeah, especially when, you get the bonus point for leading a lap, you get the bonus point for leading the most laps, if I recall correctly. So you definitely want to, so if you're Mashburn, you definitely want to get up into the lead and try to lead as much of the rest of this race as possible, especially when we're just under 30 laps to go.
And the good news for him is he's got his teammate right with him, Joshua Michaels, to try and help him in his efforts. But not for long. Michaels pulls out. Maybe he got a little bump from Roberto Crown Jr. that sent him down to the bottom. But regardless, the teammates have split up. And now it's Crown pushing the 72 on the outside.
Well, to be fair for Michaels, he ended this race 85 points out, last of all playoff drivers. So he really wants to try and make up points and try and go for the championship himself. So makes sense that he jumped out of line here, especially with it still being the 5th race of the playoffs. After this, we're halfway done with the playoffs, although here comes Bolden now with a charge to the inside. Can't quite get there. He wants to try and get back up to the front of this field.
Yeah, but there's going to come a point in time in these playoffs where Michaels has to realize that there's only a certain amount of points that can be made up, and it might be in his best interest to try and help the team win this championship more than he could possibly help himself. But I don't think that time has come yet. I think he still did the right thing to try and gain as many points as he can, especially with Dillon Young so far behind everybody. But yeah, it's a tough situation for Michaels. He's got a teammate racing for a championship. He's also racing for a championship.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, with Bolton and Michaels, yeah, that was pretty tight.
Yeah, you see right there, he's trying to do everything he can to try and make it as many points as possible, but Bolton had a push from Bouchard, and Michaels just could not block that quick enough. But yeah, Michaels decided to readjust as quickly as he tried to throw the block, trying to avoid the wreck. So good on Michaels for at least avoiding the wreck.
And meanwhile, it looks like Dillon Young and Patrick Smith, I think they might have actually swapped positions in their draft to try and see if that's a little faster. But that did cost them a lot of time, and I don't think they're going to catch this lead group without another caution. So it's a tough break for Dillon Young, but as long as he can stay in the top 20, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, that's really all he can hope for at this point, is trying to minimize the bleed of points to Myles Mashburn right now, who is still in the top 5 and still just showing hard hammer consistency, even at a place where it's more luck than it is, strategy, like Talladega. As we take a look a little bit further back.
Yeah, they're going to catch,
for a brief moment,
they're going to catch Aiden Clare and Duke Anzac here before too long. That's going to throw a wrench into these guys' plans, I'm sure. But they're doing it, because they're running together, the officials aren't going to black flag them because they're drafting together enough to just stay above minimum speed. So they're going to be okay in that regard.
Yeah, and I think Mashburn might have just gotten that lead lap point.
And he sure did, by 12 one-thousandths of a second over Daniel Bouchard. So that's not what Dillon Young was hoping to see. As these two race down the back straightaway, you can see that pack approaching them in a big hurry.
Yeah, and you really want to be the leader here because that allows you to be able to navigate the lap traffic. Well, it seems obvious that you'd want to be the leader to navigate lap traffic first, but at the same time, it's like if the lap traffic doesn't go where you want to and you have somebody, to your outside or to your inside, that could then further jeopardize your chances of being able to win this race. So, and with these guys we're now running side by side, that could really jeopardize how these lead cars get around the lap burst here that they're about to catch, as we see Michaels and Bolton still side by side for the lead.
And here's a name we haven't talked about yet today, that McDonald's Honda, Keon Daly. He started this race 42nd and last. He's now second on the inside line. Now he heads the middle lane, as they have definitely caught Clare and Anzac now. Michaels goes to the outside to try and make a move, and that might be the right way to go, because Clare and Anzac have definitely held up that bottom a lot more.
Yeah, and although at the same time, Michaels isn't really blowing by them as well, so that's definitely now bunched up this field here as these leaders just now still trying to figure out a way around these guys.
It looks like now,
It looks like they're gonna.
yeah, now they're starting to make it through.
I was about to say, it looks like they were splitting the 70 there, as Michael's clear around the outside. But he's by himself. He has no drafting help at this point, so I would expect him to start falling back here as they head down the back straightaway.
I think Ellison's going to try and jump up there, give him a helping hand. Stephen Gale goes down with Teskar. Bolton to the race lead, but you said it tightened the pack up like a lap ago. Now it's completely spread them out.
Yeah, and just the nature of trying to get around lap traffic, and they're still holding up some people. That's going to allow Bubba Jones as well as Smith and Young to probably catch a couple of the stragglers that might lose the draft of the lead pack here.
Well, they're 6 seconds off the group as it stands now. We'll see if they've gained it. No, they didn't really gain on that lap. They're still about 3.5 seconds back. It'd take a lot for them to catch Ryan Griffin and Roberto Crown Jr. at this point. Plus, everybody's so strung out at the front of the field, they should be able to at least get the draft off each other.
Well, I think they're close enough at this point with how strung out that pack was. Plus, Ryan Griffin looks like he got held up by the 70 just a little bit extra there. Although the field still has another lap car that they are rapidly approaching. Stephen Gale actually is coming down pit road.
See, that's the first sign that he didn't think he was going to be able to make it to the end of this race on the fuel he had. So he pits now with 20 laps to go, 19 to go now. And he's going to make sure he has enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. That seems like a smart decision from the 52. He won this race in the spring, so I'm curious to see if this leads to a trickle of cars joining him later on.
I don't know. He pitted by himself, and that is
not good.
Not what you want to do.
But he does now have enough fuel to go to the end, and no one else does.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if anybody else comes down to respond.
And remember what you said about that group of three trying to catch the rest of the field. That's not going to happen because they're now being held up by the 83 and the 70.
Yeah, I figured 3 cars would have been having an easier time navigating around 2 cars than 18 cars getting around 2 cars. But goes to show you, just I don't know everything.
No, but there's Stephen Gale. He rejoins just ahead of the leaders. Mark Davies going to be the next one to go a lap down here. And he's going to hold these guys up pretty significantly because the 11 by himself is even slower than the 83 and the 70 were running together. So it's going to be tough. They have caught him now, and they're going to also lap past Stephen Gale for good measure. But it's going to be a group of 3 cars getting the best run through there. Bolton, Martin, and Teskar.
Yeah, and each from a different manufacturer too. So that is going to basically eliminate the team game. Although, as I say that, Julio Cesar battling with teammate Chase Christ for what is effectively 4th position.
Yeah, and Mark Davey keeps holding up these guys enough. He's going to split the pack up more. Michaels, in particular, is really struggling behind that 11. As I think Smith, Young, and Jones, they're trying to group back up and try and just run in single file for the rest of the day. See if they can salvage any positions from here on out. But up at the front, it's Bolton, Martin, and Teskar out in the lead. But I would be very surprised if that pack behind wasn't able to catch up.
Well, we've seen 3 very quick cars be able to pull away before. Just a matter of can they do it again here today.
And the problem they've got about 4 or 5 lap cars now up ahead of them to spoil their party. Yeah, there they are. You got Evans Ross, you got DeLello, Logan Williams, Stephen Hunter. They're all about to get lapped, and even without those cars, I think these 3 are going to get caught anyway.
Yeah, because I think them just battling side by side there for a moment slowed them out just enough to where you had this second group be able to catch back up. So Yeah, it's not just a battle. It's not just a 3-car battle for the win anymore. It's now back to being 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 or 11 cars.
And keep in mind, and yes, this may be a slow burn of a race. We sometimes get those at Talladega, but you got to admit it's interesting to watch the different drafts play out. Bolton continues to lead the race, but those lap cars up there, I expect this group to probably be the toughest group to try and overtake because there's just 4 of them instead of 1 or 2.
That, and they're battling each other as well for position. So that's going to definitely throw a wrench into things, as now Bolton doesn't really have a good line to go to. He's going to try and cut to the inside, but here comes J.D. Martin. He's already there. Ooh, Myles Mashburn just about runs over Bouchard, trying to figure out where to go as everybody has to check up to avoid running over the lap cars.
One thing this will do, though, and I'm curious how this is going to play out, them slowing for the lap cars, that might help them save a little fuel, which might be try and help them get to the end. It might be a tall order still, but I mean, if you're Daniel Bouchard, if you're James Ellison, if you're not racing for a championship and you're down in the 30s in points, what do you have left to lose?
Exactly.
It's the best time to go for a win when you're down that far in the points. I mean, we've seen it before here at Talladega. What's to say we won't see it again?
Hell, we opened up the playoffs with J.D. Martin going back-to-back as a playoff spoiler. So, you know, just because you're out of the championship fight doesn't mean you can't go for wins. As we've seen how Mahindra tried to get to the inside of Mashburn, who led that lap after navigating all that lap traffic.
You can add Mahindra to that list of drivers that can go for a win. You can add Aaron Hall to that list. Roberto Crown Jr. you can add to that list. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some of them maybe try to stay out on the racetrack, gain as many positions as they can, see if they can make something happen towards the end of this race.
Of course, that also depends on whether or not Stephen Gale just maybe didn't get enough fuel or if he was actually short pitting. We'll have to wait and see here, as we got just over 10 laps to go.
This will be 12 laps to go when they get to the line here. So it's not impossible, I guess, for them to make it to the end, but it'd be a real big stretch. And these guys have been racing quite hard for ever since the restart. It wouldn't surprise me to see them come back to pit road.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. As we see now, Crown Jr. now looking to the inside here, going into turn 3. He has a push from Tescar Jr. And then you got Ellison there trying to follow the 18. Can't quite get there because Bouchard's getting a push from Bolton.
But kudos to James Ellison for hanging in there all race long. He started on pole, led the opening couple laps. He's still running in the top 10. This would be his first top 10 since Richmond at the very start of the season. So, you know what? Pretty solid day in the office for the 3 team. Although, they're about to catch Zachary Fitzwater to put him a lap down. What an ironic twist that is.
Yeah. But on the flip side, only a single lap car. So it's not going to be as detrimental as trying to pass 2 or even 4 lap cars like we saw several laps ago.
And I don't think Fitzwater has that much damage either. So he might even be able to assimilate into this pack. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, Roberto Crown Jr. takes the top spot.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Stephen Gale still has a little bit of damage, and he was able to assimilate into this pack as well. He's still riding there last of the inside lane there, so it wouldn't surprise me if Fitzwater was able to still hang with these guys.
Well, I guess we'll see, because we have 10 laps of racing to go from Talladega. Crown leads this race. It's been a while since he's been to victory lane. You got to go back to Denver in 2023, the last time Crown went to victory lane, the only time Crown has gone to victory lane. So he would love to get a second win here at Talladega. But now Fitzwater's going to stack the pack up. He might actually have a little more damage than I thought he would, because they're blowing past him a lot faster now.
Yeah, especially on that outside lane. Now the inside lane's going to get around him, since that is the faster way around here. Although, speaking of Crown, that would be a big... Oh, and Fitzwater gets turned.
We don't have. We stay green though. Fitzwater has looped it back around. He keeps going. Aaron Hall and Jeff Bolton, I believe, were coming to pit road, and Fitzwater had no idea.
Well, Fitzwater decided to take the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get 4 fresh tires. I need those because I just spun. So, although it looks like he's just taking fuel, so maybe those tires aren't as flat spotted as I initially thought, even after the spin.
But what that did do is it split the pack up once again in a pretty significant way. Now there's only 5 cars racing at the front of the field. Crown, Caesar, Mashburn, Bouchard, and Mahendra. We'll see if anyone pulls into the pits this time. The double zeros in. Mahendra, Teskar, they're all coming in this time.
Yep. As is Chase Crest.
And Michaels, Keon Daly, and a few of the lap cars as well.
Yeah. Anyways, but as I was saying before the Fitzwater spin, they would be a big momentum shift for Crown Jr. I mean, speculation is he's going into a new team next year, so it's going to be interesting to see how he can carry that momentum if he's able to pull off the win here today.
And meanwhile, look at the running order. We've got the 71 leading, the 72 running second, and the 73 rounding out the podium. It's funny how this sometimes comes to fruition, but you know what? We love numbers, and we love seeing them in play like this, but it looks like they're all going to come to pit road here together.
Gorigami! Or something along those lines, I don't know. Anyways, Bolton and Stephen Gale stay out.
Well, they already pitted, remember?
Yeah.
So I think those 3, I think it was those 6 cars that were running top 6 at the moment, at the time of when they crossed the line. But we're going to have 7 laps to go this time, and I'm curious to see whether Mahendra and Caesar can play spoiler and try and close in on the group that just came in.
Well, there's still about a quarter or so lap behind these guys on pit road right now. But they're at full song. The guys on pit road are maybe only just now leaving.
Yeah, there they are, leaving now.
And they're not going to be at full song until they reach middle of 3 and 4. So,
meanwhile, Patrick Smith has stayed out to lead a lap, get a bonus point for himself. Not a bad idea, considering he wasn't probably going to win this race anyway. But now he too comes to pit road. Meanwhile, and looking back to the battle for the lead, Crown and Caesar and Mahendra are coming at these guys with a huge rate of speed. I wouldn't be surprised if they get past Bouchard, at least, by the time they get out of turn 4. Well, considering
they're not even past Mashburn yet.
Well, considering Anzac is holding up Bouchard, it wouldn't surprise. Yeah, here we go. Now we're seeing the move get made.
Yeah, and Crown also had to get around the 70 as well, so that also held him up slightly, although he's still going to retain the lead here for the moment. But here comes Caesar with a huge head of steam on the outside lane. He's going to clear Crown by a couple car lengths, actually.
So we're coming to 5 laps to go next time they cross the line. And Roberto Crown Jr. is looking for a very important win, but he's got to get back past Julio Caesar to make that happen first. And of course, you can never, like we said, never count out Myles Mashburn. He's running in 3rd position, but if he can work together with the 71, get past the 00, and then try and make a slingshot, you just never know.
Well, I mean, we see him trying to make a move on Crown now, although I think that's a little bit too early, because that's going to allow Crown to get an opportunity to get a run here a little bit later to try and retake that position.
I mean,
as these guys are actually rapidly closing in the Finn guy.
The thing about it is they're close enough to Caesar now to get his draft, which I think is what they were going for anyway. So we got 5 laps to go. They're coming up on Finn guy to put him a lap down. I honestly think we have 8 cars in the mix for this victory if Teskar, Denoto, Hall, and Bouchard can close back in.
Well, I have to wait and see, because they are a little bit spread out here due to the pit stops. It's be interesting to see if the draft can help close them up here.
And if Finn guy can help them too.
Yeah, because if Finn guy slows up any of these guys, that's going to allow everybody to catch up as well.
Well, they're going to try going around him on the outside. That's probably the best thing they could have done in that scenario. So Caesar holds on to the lead. We've got 4 laps to go. And right now we've got 4 cars within a second of each other.
Yeah, because you got Mahindra there as well, still in the draft, and it looks like they're going to catch Davey as well.
But
I believe a second lap down at this point.
The thing is, though, I still wouldn't count out that group of 4 cars back there trying to close in. Because, look, Davey's going to hold these guys up a little bit. That's going to let Mahindra close in on them. And, yeah, they're coming to 3 laps to go. I would not be surprised if that group of 4 back there caught up to this group of 4 here.
Yeah, in fact, here they come right there.
With a huge head of steam, I might add.
Yeah, because Davey held up Crown just a little bit extra, although the double zero Caesar, he has a huge lead at this point.
That's too big a lead, I think. That's too big a lead for him at this point in the race.
I don't know. It's going to take at least a little bit of time for them to at least catch him.
Yeah, but they have 2.5 laps to go. There's no way they don't. And here's McDonald and Thomas. They don't have too much damage, but they're about to get lapped as well. Look at Denoto. He's getting to the inside of Rasha Mahindra. That's for 3rd spot.
Yeah, and he's got his teammate to fall right behind him, too. So that's going to be additional help here at the end. Now looks to the inside trying to get the Crown.
Coming to 2 laps to go. Denoto and Hall making a charge for Game Breaker Racing. And let's see what the margin is at the line. Oh, they cut half a second out of that lead. They are here, and they are ready to take it away.
Well, catching's one thing, passing's another, as we always say. So, although it looks like they're going to make mincemeat of Caesars, they all go to the inside lane to try and make the move for the lead, although teammate on teammate violence, as Lane Sanders would say.
Oh, I'm not sure, though, because Denoto crossed down in front of Aaron Hall just in case the 07 got any ideas. But we're coming to the white flag this time. We've got 5 cars in the mix for victory, possibly as many as 8 if Teskar, Bouchard, and Mashburn can close back in. This is a great fight, and Sam Denoto now takes the lead with 1 lap remaining here at Talladega.
And it's not over till they cross that line again, though. I mean, we've seen Game Breaker Racing have speed in super speedways. I mean, they kicked off the season with a win in Daytona 500 with Emma Kruger, so.
Yeah, and she'll be back next week at Denver's road course to pick up the charge in the 70 once again. But, man, Sam Denoto, it's been a long time since he's been the victory lane. Crowd now ducks to the inside of Hall. This could be what Denoto's hoping for Hall to play enough defense to allow Denoto to hold on. Through turn 4 for the final time. They're about to go into the trioval. Remember where the start-finish line here is. That could give Crown an opportunity if he gets close enough, but I don't think he is getting close enough. Through the trioval final time, it will be Sam Denoto holding on for his first victory in 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, he and Hall just carried the momentum there in the last few laps there with help from lap traffic perfectly, and that allowed him to capitalize and take victory here. Crown second, very, very good day for Crown. And I believe Julio Caesar just barely got edged out by Crown for 3rd.
Well, Caesar held off Hall for 3rd. Meanwhile, you go back here to Dillon Young. I believe he finished in about 18th, 19th position. And with Myles Mashburn finishing in 8th with a lap led, Dillon Young will still be the points leader, but it is a razor-thin margin heading to Denver.
I think 2 or 3 points.
I think it's 4 based on my math. I think it's 4 based on the math I'm doing. But man, what a race we had, though, at Talladega. We only had 1 incident. Granted, it was pretty large, but considering the nature of Talladega, I'd say that's a pretty solid day in the office.
Yeah, I mean, it shows a testament of just skill these drivers to be able to keep out of trouble as long as they were able to.
Absolutely, but that is going to do it for us from Talladega. From Jacob Crago and from myself as well, we'll see you again next time at the Denver Motorsports Park Road Course, our final road race of the season. We hope you'll join us there for race 26 of the season, but until we see it end, so long from Talladega. The playoffs are officially halfway over. Congratulations to Sam Donotto on his 4th career win, ties him with Stephen Gale on the all-times win list, and now he is back in victory lane, a place he has wanted to return to for quite some time now.